Ladies and gents, welcome back to another unboxing video. Inside this package is a Galaxy Flip. I think this is the very first one that they released, maybe in like 2019 or 2020, whenever that came out. I honestly don't remember. But I think I got the cheapest working one on eBay that's in decent condition. This thing was 90 bucks, and as far as I can tell, that's a pretty good price for one of these devices in fair condition. So let's get it opened up, see what kind of condition it's in, and give this thing a little bit of a chat because I'm typically an Apple guy, so I don't know much about the Samsungs. Let's see what kind of experience this device gives us at first glance. All right, here is our phone, and it arrived folded. So right away, it looks like we're missing the SIM card tray. I think that's what goes there. I could be wrong. And I'm noticing that this phone feels so slippery. I don't know if this is glass on the back. Glass or really glossy plastic, but it feels so slick. And you can tell right away that this looks like a pretty significant crease in the middle. That's why this device, I think, was as cheap as it was. So first things first, let's give this thing a little bit of a clean so we can see the true condition of it before we try to power it on. All right, so we'll start with the back, and it looks like it's in very nice condition. No scratches or cracks, and I think we've got our little display there at the top, as well as our dual cameras and the flash. Not much going on the back. Around here on the side, again, we're missing that SIM card tray. But the overall device looks to be in really nice condition. I'm not seeing any significant dents or scratches on the sides. We've got the power button there as well as the volume rocker. Moving around to the front of the phone actually looks to be in decent condition, although it's pretty scratched. I think that's because it is not a glass panel. It's some sort of plastic layering over top of the display, so it's going to scratch super easy. And that's why you can see that that crease mark in the middle there is as prominent as it is. We do have a single front-facing camera up there, but enough talk. Let's try to power this device on, see if it has any charge. And it does. We're met with the Samsung Galaxy Z Flip. This is the first time I've ever held a flipping smartphone like this. This is pretty cool. It doesn't exactly snap into place. I mean, it does kind of, but it's not as violent as you might expect from a flip phone. It feels nice to hold, actually. It's very thin sideways, and then up and down it is pretty tall. So it's actually got a very nice feel, nice form factor to it. It's significantly larger here, or significantly taller than this Samsung Galaxy Note 3, and it's quite a bit narrower right there. So I'm going to go ahead and go through the setup screen here. So once we make it to the home screen, we'll talk about this device. So I'm trying to switch everything from my old Samsung phone, and of course, unlike Apple, this is just not working. I've got them both connected, and they just cannot communicate to each other. Classic Samsung, just not working right. So this is taking quite a bit longer than I was expecting. So let me get back to it. All right, so setup has finished, and we should go to the home screen here just like that. This device is pretty neat, I've got to say. I know this is Samsung's first folding phone, and they had quite a lot of creases to work out, quite literally. But this device feels very nice, and I went ahead and I read up on the specs. So this is a 6.7-inch 1080p display, and on the rear it's got two 12-megapixel lenses, and this thing does have 8 gigabytes of RAM paired with a Snapdragon 855 Plus. So that makes this a pretty capable device, and it seems to always want to turn itself off. It does have a fingerprint sensor there on the power button, which is actually really nice. You just have it set up to your thumb, so whenever you press that button there, it's supposed to unlock. The screen feels very nice. It's fluid. It's not 120 hertz, so this is only a 60 hertz panel, but it does feel pretty nice and fluid. I do like how large the display is. It's very unique. So I think it's currently doing some sort of downloading of updates or sorts, but We can talk a little bit about the phone. You can see it's got this raised edge around the display. So that means when you close it, the screen is never actually touching itself. It just kind of, the outside of the phone kind of snaps together there, just like that. And you can still barely see through the device. You can see through to the other side there. There's a little bit of a gap. This phone is not water or dust resistant. I don't know if they've changed that in some of the newer models, but this first gen Galaxy Flip is not IP rated. So let's go ahead and head into the camera and see what we can get there. So here's our 1x lens, and there's our 0.5 lens. I wonder if it shows up on the rear. If we close it, that screen is pretty small, and I think it's showing us that the camera is on, but it's not giving us a preview. I think the newer flip phones actually have a display here that would allow you to see what those rear cameras are shooting, which is actually pretty nice because a lot of times the rear cameras are much better quality than the front-facing cameras. One more tidbit on the camera that I just learned about after finishing recording this video is if you've got the camera open here and then you close the display a little bit, it actually snaps the full frame up here to the top screen and puts the controls down here at the bottom. So it's kind of got like a Game Boy feel to it where the display is at the top, the controls are down here at the bottom. But I think that's actually pretty interesting because then you can set it there and you can record out in front of you like that. So pretty interesting there. It also works in landscape mode. So if you turn it, the buttons actually turn. You can read them sideways. So you can set the phone just like that and you don't need a tripod. So interesting little tidbit there. And if you open it, it snaps back into full screen mode. So that is pretty cool. All right, back to the video. Now this front-facing camera is not built into the display in the sense that like you can't see it. And you guys can probably tell there that the plastic cover is a little bit different there on top of that camera lens. I can actually feel it with my finger. There is a bit of a divot there. Now I think Samsung was smart to use a black wallpaper, especially here in the middle, because as you can see, that crease is very significant from wear and tear of this device being folded over and over again. I think the new ones have fixed this, but here in the first generation, that's going to be a problem with almost all of these that you purchase, at least the ones that were used quite a bit. Overall, this is a very nice device, and it actually sits pretty cleanly just like that. I've never actually seen anybody use one of these in the real world. I've only ever seen videos of it. It's a very interesting looking phone, and I'm not really sure what the benefits are to being able to fold up like this, because then you just have a thicker phone. But I suppose if you just really have small pockets, this is an okay phone for you. I don't know if this is the future. I'm not sure Apple's ever going to make one of these. And if Apple doesn't make it, then it's not going to revolutionize the smartphone industry. But overall, great experience for a $90 phone. This thing is still pretty powerful. It's was released in early 2020. And yeah, it's a great phone. My only complaint is that I wish it had a 120 hertz display. I think that would make a big difference. And now that we're talking about it, I wonder which version of Android this phone has. So it looks like we've got Android 13. I'm guessing that's the last version that this phone can get. And the security patch is from October of 23. Let's see if there are any software updates for this device. I'm guessing not. I don't think this is going to get Android 14. And while we've got a white display here, oh wait, it is doing something. Oh, I think that's a One UI update. You guys can see right here in that crease, there's a little tiny black bubble. The OLED panel has broken there and it is leaking just a little bit. Super common problem on Android phones to have OLED damage there. I don't know why that's so common. You never see that in iPhones. But if you search on eBay for older Android phones, you see hundreds of them that have black splotches on the display where the OLED panel has ruptured. But I think that's going to do it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed this look at a Galaxy Flip first gen. This phone's from 2020. Cost me $90. I think that's a pretty good deal. Specs are still very solid, and of course it's kind of a gimmicky phone. And I just wanted to experience the Flip for myself. So that's going to do it for this video. Hope you enjoyed it. And as always, I look forward to seeing you in another one of my videos.